My brother's best friend is my tutor. The sticky note was still in my hand, the words glaring at me like a challenge. Stop wasting time and start highlighting the doubts you need to help with. I'm out and will come to check where you are stuck. And don't you dare play with my chair. Typical Jasper writing, always bossy, always brooding, always perfect. I rolled my eyes and slumped deeper into his swivel chair, spinning it lazily as I traced the sharp curves of his handwriting. Even his stupid cursive was annoyingly flawless. Jasper. Ugh. Just the name makes my blood boil and my heart race at the same time. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with him. He's my brother Damien's best friend, lives alone in his condo as his parents stayed overseas, and has been this untouchable, perfect, annoyingly hot guy who treated me like a kid. Like, excuse me, I'm not 5 anymore. But, does he see that? Nope. I remember this one time when I was about 13, and I tried to prove I was grown up by rolling a piece of paper and pretending to smoke it. Jasper, being overprotective, ridiculously hot buzzkill he is, he slapped it out of my hands and scolded me like I'd committed a crime. But here's the thing, I didn't hate it. My parents were too busy to care, and Damien was too checked out to notice me. But Jasper, he noticed, and for some reason that stuck with me. Fast forward a few years, and I'm still hopelessly crushing on him. I even wrote him a super embarrassing letter confessing my feelings. What did he do? He patted me on the head like a puppy and said, "That's sweet, Adrian." Sweet? I wanted to scream. I'm not sweet. I'm a menace. So, I decided to stop being cute and innocent and started getting under his skin instead. Pranks, teasing, shameless flirting. You name it, I've done it. But now? Oh, now things are different. I'm about to flunk out of school, and if I do, my dad's shipping me off to boarding school. Damien, being the responsible older brother, decided to force Jasper to tutor me. And here I am, at his condo in his bedroom, sitting in his touch-me-not chair. Adrian! Jasper's voice cut through my thoughts like a knife. I leaned more in his chair, doodling in his notebook, like my little gremlin. He just walked in, his hair a tousled mess, his sweatshirt clinging to his stupidly perfect body. I shamelessly stared, my mouth practically watering. "What the hell are you doing?" he demands, his eyes narrowing as he spots his notebook. I grin. "Oh, just adding some artistic flair to your boring notes." "You're welcome." Jasper sighs, running a hand through his hair. "You're impossible." And yet, here you are, stuck with me. I shot back, winking. He looked straight at me and stepped closer, and my pulse skyrocketed. He's so close. I can smell his cologne mixed with sweat, and my brain short-circuited. Is he going to kiss me? Oh my god, is this happening? My eyes fluttered, shut in anticipation, but instead of his lips, I felt the weight of a textbook drop on my lap. "Start solving the highlighted questions," he said, his voice low and annoyingly calm. "If you get one wrong, you're doing an entire chapter of homework." My eyes snapped open, and I glared at him. "You're evil," he smirked, shrugging. "You wanted interesting. I'm delivering." That night, I groaned, slamming my head on the desk. "This is torture," I muttered, glaring at the math problem in front of me. All because I messed up one stupid question Jasper highlighted. Now, I had to do an entire chapter as punishment. An entire chapter. Who does that? Oh right, Jasper. The guy who somehow my devil of a brother convinced that he's a saint, sent to straighten me out. Speaking of the devil, Damien walked into my room, smirking like he had won the lottery. "Wow, Adrian, I never thought I'd see the day Jasper actually got you to sit still and do work. Maybe I should hire him as a full-time babysitter." I shot him a death glare. "Shut up, Damien. You're just mad because you can't solve those problems either." He laughed, ruffling my hair like I was 5. "Keep telling yourself that, little bro. But hey, at least Jasper's got you under control. Maybe you'll finally stop being such a brat." Oh, that did it. I was not letting this go. Jasper thought he could waltz in here Strum the love strings in my love-sick heart. Play the strict tutor and embarrass me in front of my brother. Nope, not happening again. I am going to make him regret ever crossing me. Next day at school, I kept catching Jasper's eye whenever our paths crossed. He'd raised an eyebrow like he knew I was up to something, but he didn't say anything. Typical Jasper, always so calm, so collected. Well, not for long. See, Jasper was on the student council, and he'd been raising funds for some charity thing, helping stray animals or something. Cute, right? Well, I had a better idea. During lunch, I snuck into the boys' washroom and tapped up the poster I'd made the night before. I had Jasper's picture on it, along with the words, "Be a donor and get a kiss in return for free." I even added a little love heart for flair. Childish? Maybe. Hilarious? Absolutely. By the end of the day, the whole school was talking about it. I was hiding behind a corner watching as he stormed out of the washroom, his face red. A group of guys nearby were laughing. One of them shouted, "Hey Jasper, where do I sign up for that kiss?" Jasper looked at him like he was about to explode. He turned to Damien, who was standing nearby, looking equally embarrassed. "Your brother," Jasper said through gritted teeth, "is dead." Damien sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "I'll handle it." That night, I was grounded. Grounded! My parents took my phone, my laptop, everything, all because my devil of a brother Damien ratted me out. "Your sole focus will be studying from now on," my dad said, his voice stern. I wanted to argue, but one look at my mother's disappointed face shut me up. The next day at school, Jasper avoided me like the plague, and honestly, it kind of hurt. I didn't expect him to be that mad. I mean, it was just a prank, but the way he looked at me, like I'd actually betrayed him, made my stomach twist. I tried to brush it off, but it lingered. I didn't like this feeling at all. That evening, the tutoring session that followed was pure misery. Jasper didn't even entertain my playful jabs. His gaze cold and distant. I tried cracking a few jokes, but he didn't even flinch. This wasn't fun anymore. This wasn't anything anymore. So I did what any stubborn idiot would do. I decided to solve the entire chapter he had given me before and showed it to him, hoping it would smooth things over. I even wrote a sorry on the last page, just to try and make some peace. When I handed it to him, he looked without a word. He flipped through the pages, scanning my work carefully, and then set it down with a sigh. His eyes met mine, and for a moment, I swore he was about to say something nice. Instead, his voice was firm and controlled. "I want nothing more than you to excel in your studies, Adrian," he said, his tone laced with frustration. "That's why I'm here. But this," he gestured to the prank, "isn't funny anymore. I'm not getting anything from this. Either we're on the same team, or I'll have to tell Damien I can't talk to you anymore." I froze. The words hit harder than I expected. I thought I could just brush him off and keep messing with him. But now, all of a sudden I felt small. "I'll listen," I mumbled barely above a whisper. "I'll stop messing around. You can help me, I guess." Jasper's face softened a little, a small smile tucking at the corner of his mouth. It wasn't much, but it was something. He nodded and picked up the pen and started the lesson. Oh no, the pen! One of my prop pranks! As soon as Jasper uncapped the pen, I lunged forward. "Wait!" I tried to stop him, but it was too late. Ink bursted from the pen, splattering all over Jasper's face. His eyes widened in shock, and he groaned, wiping his face with the back of his hand. "Adrian!" Voice laced with disbelief. I couldn't help it. My shoulders shook with laughter, but I quickly buried my face in my book, feeling a mixture of shame and amusement. The silence in the room was thick, punctuated by Jasper's groan of frustration. "Impossible," he muttered, glaring at me with his face painted in ink. "I won't leave you." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. All I could focus on was the way he looked. His exasperated, yet strangely amused expression, and how much I didn't want to screw this up. And for the first time in a long while, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave. A month in, As much as I hated to admit it, Jasper's tutoring was actually working. I had a test coming up next week, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't completely doomed. I still wasn't good at studying, but at least I wasn't blanking out over every damn question. Not that I'd ever tell Jasper that. His ego was already big enough. But I guess he knew, because sometimes when I got an answer right, I'd catch him giving me the barely there satisfying nod. Which, why did that make my chest feel weird? A week in, I'd been on a mission for a week. Mission: melt Jasper. And today marks the second day. While he was tutoring, stern and serious, I leaned down and reached the bottle accidentally. Spilt water all over my shirt. Jasper froze, his eyes flickering to the fabric clinging to my skin, before snapping away so fast, it was a miracle he didn't get whiplash. Adrian, he said, voice tight. Go change. I stretched, making a show of the damp shirt. Why? It's just water. You're not distracted, are you, Jasper? His jaw tightened. If you don't start doing your work, I'm throwing you out the window. Dramatic much? He ignored me. But his ears were pink. Day 6. 6 days in, and tonight I went big. For a change, Jasper decided to tutor me today at my place. I had borrowed a pair of handcuffs from Damien's room. P.S. I really didn't want to know why he had them. As soon as Jasper got comfortable and focused on his stupid textbook, I slapped one cuff around his wrist and the other one around mine. His head whipped towards me, eyes wide. Adrian, what the hell? I jingled the cuffs innocently. Oops. His exasperation was instant. Where's the key? I grinned. Funny story. I might have misplaced it. Jasper was seething. You mean to tell me we're stuck like this? I shrugged. Unless you want to spend the night with me. His ears burned. Find the key, I smirked. Or what? You'll punish me, Jasper? His eyes darkened. Then he yanked me forward. I stumbled, crashing into his chest. My breathing hitched. He was warm and solid. His grip on my cuffed wrist tightened. His thumb brushing over my skin just lightly. You're playing a dangerous game, Adrian. His voice was low and warming. My stomach flipped. Then the door swung open. Yo, Jasper, if you're done... Damien's voice froze. And then Jasper let go of me. Not just let go. He stepped back so fast it was like I burned him. His face went completely blank. Expression soothing out something cold and indifferent. I blinked. Just a second ago, it was all intense stares and tight grips. Voice dipped low like a challenge. Now, he barely even looked at me. Damien's gaze flickered between us. Do I wanna ask? Jasper exhaled. Voice clipped. He thought this was funny. Damien raised an eyebrow. And it's not. Jasper turned to me, with all the warmth from him before gone. Grow up, Adrian. Something inside me jolted. What the hell happened? Damien let out a snort. Damn, buzzkill much. He dug into his pocket and tossed Jasper the key. Jasper unlatched himself so fast I barely had time to react. Damien smirked. You sure you guys aren't into... Good night, Damien. Jasper cut him off, already gathering his things. I stared at him confused. I expected him to yell, to threaten revenge, to do something. But instead, he just left. No glare, no lingering looks, just gone. Later that night, I sat on the terrace, staring at the sky overthinking. What the hell was that? Why did he react like that? One second he was right there, pulling me closer, saying things that made my stomach flip. Then the next, he was completely shut off, like none of it mattered. I turned to see Damien leaning against the railing, smirking. You look like you're solving world hunger over here. I rolled my eyes. Shut up. He nudged me. You've been spending a lot of time with Jasper lately. I gave him a side stare. You appointed him as my tutor. Damien raised an eyebrow. Uh-huh. And the fact that you're glued to him has nothing to do with it. I scowled. What are you, my therapist? He laughed. But then his smirk faded. You need to know Jasper doesn't let himself want things. And when he does, he pretend he doesn't. Damien's size and my quizzical gaze at him. Remember that guy I had feelings for a few years ago? You know, the one who was a cheater. I nodded. Yeah, what about him? Jasper fell for him too. Not on purpose. The guy played both of us. I tried to warn Jasper, but he didn't listen. We got into a huge fight over it. Jasper won him, but turns out he was just another game to him. My stomach dropped. Oh, yeah. I forgave Jasper, but he's never forgave himself. He thinks he doesn't deserve to be happy after what happened. And now, he won't let himself take anything else from me, including you. I stare at him, my chest tightening. That's why he's been so distant? Damien nodded. Just be careful, okay? I don't want either of you getting hurt. I swallowed, looking back at him, because that was exactly what it felt like tonight. 3 weeks in, I've slowed down on the pranks. Okay, fine, I haven't stopped. I'm not a saint, but I've definitely dialed it back. Mostly because Jasper's reaction has been weird. He'll smirk or roll his eyes, but then he'll shut it down like a robot and go back to being all distant and tutory. It's annoying and kind of cute, but mostly annoying. Tonight, though, I showed up to the tuition, looking like a drowned rat. The rain was pouring, and I was soaked to the bone, shivering like an idiot. Jasper opened the door, took one look at me, and sighed. Jesus, Adrian, you're freezing. He tossed me a hoodie. His hoodie. And I swear, it smelled like him. I pulled it on, trying not to grin like an idiot, while he disappeared into the kitchen to make hot chocolate. When he came back, I took a sip, and foam gathering on my lips. Without thinking, Jasper reached out, his thumb brushing it away, his hands lingering for a second too long, and I felt my heart skip a beat. Jas, I whispered, my voice shaky, do you ever think about us in that way? He froze. Like full deer in the headlights froze. My heart sank. Stupid, 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 stupid! Never mind, I mumbled, backing away. Forget I said anything. It was dumb. But before I could retreat completely, Jasper grabbed my wrist and pulled me in. And then, oh, he kissed me. Hard, hungry, like he'd been holding back for way too long. My brain short-circuited, and I kissed him back, my hands fisting in his shirt. But then, just suddenly, he pulled away, his eyes wide, like he'd realized what he'd just done. Adrian, No, this... He stammered, avoiding my eyes. I can't tutor you today. I have urgent work. Go home when it stops raining. My heart shattered into a million pieces. In school, Jasper acted like nothing happened, like it didn't happen. I tried to bring it up, but he cut me off before I could even get a word out. That was a mistake, Adrian, he said, his voice cold. A mistake? Ouch. But I'm not one to give up easily. So, that evening, I showed up to tuition, like nothing was wrong, and challenged him to a bet. A bet where he had to resist my charm and my antics of getting on his nerves. If I win, I said, grinning like the brat I am, you're my professional butler for a week. If you win, I'll behave. No more pranks, no more teasing, nothing. Jasper raised an eyebrow, closing the textbook. Behave. You. Ever seen a pig flying? Hey, I can be good when I want to be. I was offended. He smirked. Prove it. And just like that, the bet was on. A week in at Jasper's place, I accidentally spilled coffee on his notes. He just sighed, cleaned it up, and made me rewrite everything. At my place, I forgot to tell him my parents weren't home, and he walked in on me, dancing in my underwear, to some cheesy pop song. His face turned bright red, and he muttered something about professional boundaries before storming out. At school, I challenged him to a game of basketball. He played like he was running from something. Or someone. Like he was trying to push me away. It started in fun, me teasing and seducing him, while he resisted and coiling away. But every time our eyes meet, I could see the cracking in his armor. By the end of the game, I had ended up twisting my foot while he was busy winning. I groaned, holding my ankle as Jasper celebrated his victory. More like he was celebrating for successfully pushing me away. My eyes sting until Jasper notices my condition. Adrian, you're hurt. Let me take you to the aid. Jasper, I cut him off, my heart a mess of storm. Am I that insufferable that you would do anything? Jasper hesitated, his lips parting to respond. But he sighed. Adrian, please, don't make this tough for me. You don't understand. I can't ruin my friendship with Damien again. No, Jasper. You're only hurting both of us. My voice cracked as I finally decided to put an end to this. You've to decide, Jasper. Do you want me? Because if you let me go now, I'm not coming back ever. He stayed silent, and I got my answer. That's it. We're done. I was done. I stopped showing up for tutoring, stopped teasing him, stopped everything. Jasper won the bet, but he lost me. 2 weeks later, Jasper texted me to come back to tutoring. His words were all formed and weirdly polite, like he was trying to be some kind of saint or something. Adrian, don't let our indifference hamper your studies. Please come to tutoring. Yeah, okay, Jasper. Since when did you care about me? But Damien, being the annoying older brother he is, tried to play the mediator. Adrian, don't let your emotions mess with your grades. Just go. Fine. So I went. The moment I walked into Jasper's house for tutoring, his eyes lit up like a kid who just got a new toy. But nope, not today, buddy. I wasn't giving him the satisfaction. I sat down, opened my books, and only talked about math problems. No small talk, no jokes, nothing. Every time he tried to sneak in a casual comment, I shut it down. So how's your preparation for other subjects going? Jasper asked, leaning back in his chair. All casual-like. Fine, I replied, not even looking up from my notebook. Cool. Did you see that new movie that came out? No. Oh, well, maybe we could... Jasper, can we focus on the quadratic equations? I cut him off, my tone flat. He blinked, clearly thrown off. Right, yeah. Equations. Super important. As soon as the clock hit the end of the session, I packed up and bolted. No lingering, no awkward goodbyes, and the look on his face, priceless. Like I just kicked his puppy. Next night, Damien invited Jasper over for a movie night. I wasn't about to sit through that mess, so I stayed in my room, but around midnight, my thirst got the better of me, and I went to grab some water. As I passed by the theater room, I heard Damien's voice. Jasper, you're being an idiot. You're holding yourself back for no reason. I don't hold any grudges against you, so stop acting like you betrayed me. I didn't stay around to hear Jasper's reply. Whatever. Not my problem. Next morning, at school, Jasper's antics went from 0 to 100 real quick. He left a note on my locker that said, "Miss me yet?" with a stupid doodle of a winky face. I crumpled it up, tossed it in the trash. Then, in the hallway, he accidentally bumped into me when I was walking along one of my benchmates, spilling my books everywhere. Oops, my bad, he said, grinning like an idiot as he knelt to pick them up. Watch where you're going, I muttered, stepping around him. Damien, of course, was lurking nearby, smirking like he was watching some kind of rom-com. Having fun, you two? Shut up, idiot, I snapped, walking away. 3 days later, it was a no-tutor day, and no one was home. Yet, Jasper showed up unannounced, holding bags of my favorite takeouts. Hey, Adrian, brought you some takeout? Thought you might be hungry. Not hungry, I said, turning to walk back upstairs to my room. He even tried to offer help with the assignment I had completed days ago. Need any help with, whatever you're working on? Nope. Cool, well, I'll just be here if you change your mind. I gave him the cold shoulder every single time. Week later, there was a frat party. I wasn't even planning to go, but Damien dragged me along. You need to loosen up, he said. Whatever. I decided to play along. I wasn't going to let Jasper's weird antics ruin my night. So when a guy from my chain class lunged an arm around my shoulder and started cracking jokes. I laughed loudly, but maybe a little too loudly. But whatever. Out of the corner of my eye I saw Jasper. He was across the room. His jaw clenched, his eyes locked onto me, like I'd committed some kind of crime. Good. Let him stew. I didn't expect him to actually do anything about it though. But then, a hand shot out and yanked me behind a wall. I stumbled, my back hitting the cold surface, and there he was. Jasper, his chest heaving, his eyes blazing. "What the hell, Jasper?" I snapped, shoving at his chest. "What the hell is your problem, Adrian?" He shot back, his voice low but sharp. "My problem. You're the one who's been acting like a lunatic all week. Notes on my locker, accidentally bumping into me, showing up at my house with takeout like some kind of stalker. What's wrong with you? You've been ignoring me," he fired back, stepping closer. "You won't even look at me, Adrian. Do you have any idea how insane that's been driving me?" "Oh, I'm sorry. Is this about you now?" I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Because last I checked, you're the one who decided to act like I didn't exist. So excuse me if I'm not falling over myself to make you feel better." Jasper's eyes narrowed, and he leaned in, his voice dropping to a growl. "You think this is easy for me? You think I don't want to just..." He cut himself off, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "God, Adrian, you've no idea what you do to me." "Then tell me," I asked, now exasperated as I breathed heavily, "because all I see is you playing tug-of-war with me, Jasper, and I'm done with it." For a moment, he just stared at me, his chest rising and falling, like he'd been trying to keep himself in check. Then his voice softened, almost pleading. "Tell me what you want." I froze, my heart skipping a beat. "What? Tell me what you want," he repeated, his eyes searching mine. "Tell me you don't think about that kiss. Tell me, and I'll walk away right now." I opened my mouth to say something, anything, but the words wouldn't come. The memory of that kiss, the heartbreak, his antics flashed in my mind, and I hated how it still affected me, how much he affected me. Jasper took my silence as an answer, his hands gripping my waist, pulling me closer until there was barely any space between us. "You can't say it, can you?" he murmured, his breath warm against my skin. I glared at him, trying to hold onto my anger, but it was slipping through my fingers. "You don't get to do this," I said, my voice trembling. "You don't get to push me away and then pull me back in like nothing happened." "I know," he said, his voice breaking. "I know I've messed up, Adrian. I was scared. Scared of falling for you. Scared of hurting you. Scared of ruining everything with Damien. But I can't stay away from you. I've tried and it's killing me." "Then promise me," I whispered, his desperate gaze clicking on mine. "Promise me you won't push me again," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Not every person is the same, Jas. If you really want me, just stop playing around. Hold me. Don't let me go. And kiss me. Or I'm walking off and never turning back to you." For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. For a moment, I thought I asked too much of him, but then Jasper's hand slid up to cradle my face, his touch so gentle it made my breath catch. "I've wanted to do this since the moment I got a taste of those lips," he admitted, his voice rough with emotion. My heart stopped in anticipation, and then he kissed me. It wasn't like the first one, hesitant, unsure. This was desperate, hungry, like he was trying to pour every unspoken word into it. His lips moved against mine, with a fierceness that left me dizzy, his hands tangling in my hair, like he was afraid I'd pull away. But I didn't. Instead, I kissed him, back with everything I had, my hands gripping his shirt to keep him close. It was messy, heated, and perfect, and for the first time in weeks, I feel like I could breathe again. When we finally broke apart, Jasper rested his forehead against mine, his breath ragged. "God, I'm already addicted to your lips." "Good, because I won't have you in any other way," I whispered, my lips curling into a small smile. The world narrowed down, just the two of us. Then Jasper's lips twitched, and then a familiar, mischievous glint returned to his eye. So, does this mean I'm officially your favorite tutor again? I rolled my eyes, shoving him lightly. Don't push your luck, Jas. You're still on thin ice. He laughed, the sound warm and genuine, and it made my heart flutter with happiness. And maybe something that starts with an L. 6 months later, Jasper and I had fallen into a rhythm that felt like home. We bickered over who gets the last slice of pizza, laughed at inside jokes no one else understood, and stole kisses when he thought no one was looking. But something had been off with him for the past week. He'd been distant, lost in heart, the usual quiet every time I asked if he was okay. He'd brush it off with a smile and a quick, "I'm fine, Adrian. Don't worry about me." So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I planned a surprise date at his condo, complete with fairy lights, his favorite takeout, and a playlist of songs that reminded me of us. I wanted to create a space where he could open up to me, where he'd feel safe, enough to share whatever was weighing on his mind. I was adding the final touches to the decorations when my phone buzzed. It was Damien, my devil brother. My stomach dropped as I read his message. "Emergency. Need you here, in this location ASAP." Without thinking, I grabbed my jacket and rushed out, following the address he'd sent. It led me to a secluded beach, the kind that Jasper and I had always talked about but never visited. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the sand, waves crashing in the background. As I watched further, I noticed a path lined with lanterns. My confusion grew until I reached a clearing that took my breath away. Twinkling lights, a table set for two, a rose petals across the sand, and there standing in the middle of it was Jasper. He looked like he stepped out of a dream, dressed in a tuxedo, his hair lightly messy from the breeze. He was rocking on his heels, nervous but excited. When our eyes met, he grinned. "Jasper," I whispered. "What is all this?" He stepped closer, his gaze steady. "Adrian, I've been acting weird all week because I've been planning this. And planning a surprise for someone as nosy as you is not easy." I laughed. "You've been avoiding me because of a surprise," he exclaimed, throwing his hands up. "Do you know how hard it is to keep a secret from you? I had to sneak around, make excuses, and even enlist Damien's help. And your brother is terrible at acting. You would have figured it out if I hadn't sent you here, under the guise of an emergency." I shook my head, still laughing. "Ridiculous!" "Maybe," he said, stepping closer. "But I'm your ridiculous." My breath caught as he reached for my hand, his touch sending a shiver down my spine. "Adrian, the past 6 months with you have been the best of my life. You've made me laugh, challenged me, and loved me in ways I didn't think were possible. And I know we've already been together, but I wanted to do something special to show you just how much you meant to me." He dropped to one knee, pulling out a small box with a simple silver band inside. "Adrian, I love you. Will you make me the happiest man alive and marry me?" Tears filled my eyes as I nodded. "Yes, Jasper. 1,000 times yes." He slid the ring onto my finger and stood, pulling me into a kiss full of love and promise. When we broke apart, I rested my forehead against his, my heart overflowing. "So," I teased, "am I officially your favorite fiancé?" Jasper laughed. "Always my love, my favorite." Conclusion. A year later, I, in my midlife crisis glory, decided to attempt the GRE before jumping to get married. Yeah, right, but I don't fear as Jasper still tutors me. But now, there's a reward. For everything right, a kiss. For everything wrong, a teasing pleasure to be left hanging. One night I groaned dramatically, flopping onto Jasper's lap. "I hate my life. Why did I even decide to do this?" Jasper leans in and murmured against my lips, "Maybe if you behave, I'll help you relax." I smirked. Now that's motivation. And my idiot brooding Jasper finally learned to smile, and I fell deeply in love every day. The end. What's the favorite part of your story? The hallway scene? The tutor banter? or the frat party moment. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force, and stay wholesome.